Welcome to InvestingDoc, where physicians like you take charge of your careers and build the lives that you deserve. I'm Brad, and each week we'll explore strategies, stories, and solutions to help you master entrepreneurship, grow your wealth, and thrive in business and beyond. Hey everybody, welcome back to the podcast. My name is Brad. I own a multi-million-dollar practice here in Texas, and I like to help people start or scale medical practices. Today, let's talk about why being too accessible can absolutely kill your private practice. All right, you guys, when you're a small clinic owner or a solo doc, accessibility seems like it's your biggest selling point until it becomes the very thing that limits your growth. It can also cause burnout, confuse the patients about boundaries, and it can stifle your growth. This episode, let's explore about how over-accessibility erodes your time, authority, and scalability, and how to fix it without losing the personal touch you have. So for those of you guys that are new to the channel, I own a practice that has now 4 locations. We're about to open our 5th. And one of those locations, something special about it. We'll talk about it later. But when you're the only doctor in a small clinic, patients love that they can get a hold of you right away. They can walk in, they can talk to you, they get great customer service until basically you'll burn out almost like I did, where you feel like you're on call 24/7. And also it feels like patients are basically taking advantage of you after a little while. The problem is they know you're accessible because you probably, like me in the very beginning, never took too many vacations because it's hard to find someone to cover you. And that personal touch is the key. It separates me from the big guys in town that have massive clinics. But the key is boundaries, 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 boundaries. The more you just erode those boundaries, the harder your life is going to be. It's not necessarily about burnout. It's about getting in the way of whatever your long-term vision is, whether it's more money, more autonomy, more free time, whatever the hell you want. Boundaries is always a great idea. All right, so let me break it down for you. In my early days, I previously used an EMR called Practice Fusion. Boy, sometimes when you buy the cheapest thing, you end up paying a lot for it later on. And Practice Fusion was cheap. It used to be free. Then it went to like $50 or $100 a month. Here's the problem with Practice Fusion. There was no way to triage portal messages. And those of you guys that know primary care, holy crap, portal messages is a disaster. At its peak, I was getting almost 100 portal messages a day, including medication refills. And some of these patients started expecting instant answers instead of appointments. A lot of them didn't want to make an appointment. Hey, you've responded to my other 20 freaking portal messages. Why do I have to come in? Well, part of it is, let me tell you why. One time, a guy talked me in to basically prescribing a statin. And I'll admit, we talked about risks and benefits previously in the previous visit, and he was upset. He was like, why do I need to come in when we already talked about the statin? Just put it in for me and that's fine. Okay, is it fine though? Because I called it in for him without the visit, number one, and it took like 6 messages back and forth about why the statin is important. Number 2, he had an important business trip. And when he went on that important business trip, he had such bad myalgias, like muscle aches and pains, that he messaged in saying that he had to cancel his flight back, that he couldn't do the visit, lost an important business deal, and then started threatening to sue me. Then when it got into it, basically him and his counsel that reached out to us were basically like, you're the physician. You should have known better that this is not appropriate for a portal message. Now, luckily, I never got sued. It never went anywhere. Fine. Everything ended up totally fine. But here's the key, is that I let the patient talk me into just prescribing a medication via a portal visit. And instead, I didn't get paid for it. I had a risk of a multi-million-dollar lawsuit potentially if things went wrong. And the patient ended up frustrated. Why can't you just do what I'm asking for? All because I cheaped out on an EMR that couldn't triage these portal messages. No, that absolutely should have been triaged to someone else to answer that for me. Or I should have had better boundaries, or I should have turned the damn thing off. Here's the other thing, is that patients will start figuring out the system, and some of them will figure out how to work around it, okay? The staff are going to start bypassing systems to get approval on everything as well. Whenever I was small like this, there was one point in time where I was messaging my MA when I very first started, and I was like, hey, message the patient this, because thought I was smart. I was like, okay, instead of answering all these patient messages, I'm going to message my staff to send the message to the patient. Turns out that staff member eventually didn't send many of those messages to the patient. It got lost in communication. And then that's not good either. There's not good communication with the patient on following through with things. So now here we go. I'm sitting with a place where the boundaries are blurred. These patients are just asking me all kinds of stuff. Just send in a Z-Pack for me. I have to send in no. Then I have to say why. Well, the medical board requires this. And technically, like medical legal, I need to be doing this. It's a waste of my time. That was an absolute waste of my freaking time. And I'm sharing this with you guys to let you know that you need to set the boundaries too. And don't let yourself become like I did, because the root cause is that I was a fear of losing patients early on. In my mind, I was like, okay, what separates me from the big box in town? Customer service. I need to go above and beyond in customer service. Yes, that's true. But at the same time, I can do that with great boundaries. I also had the belief that, well, if I had more available care, if I was more accessible, that led to better care. It just led to blurred boundaries and me being burnt out, me answering phone calls. I remember some lady would call me, and while my newborn was there screaming and my wife needed help, I was outside talking to her on the phone for like 20 minutes, trying to calm her down about an anxiety attack because she didn't want to be started on Zoloft and just wanted to talk through it with talk therapy. I'm not a freaking therapist, and I shouldn't have been her therapist, and I shouldn't have answered the phone on that Saturday to talk her down from it. Should I have dealt with it? Yes, absolutely. I should have been. I hear you, but I'm going to refer you to a therapist, and we can talk about this on Monday. The other thing is that I wasn't thinking like a CEO. I was not thinking like a businessman. I wasn't thinking, how the hell can I delegate a lot of this stuff to someone else to set up a visit so that I'm making money on it, the patient's getting great quality care, and there's no confusion on emails or portal messages. There was no system for triaging things. And that's what Patient Fusion really let me down and why I had to eventually switch. It's not that you're too nice. It's that you haven't built in systems to protect your time yet. And I went through it. And let me tell you, when you try to reset up a boundary after a boundary's been broken, it's never good. The patient always ends up hating you, and your clinic, quote unquote, sucks. I mean, makes sense, right? If you're used to getting like a huge bowl of ice cream every night by your lovely spouse, and then all of a sudden they're like, nah, I'm not doing that anymore. It's not that your spouse sucks. It's maybe they care about your health. It's maybe about other systems that need to be important for it. It's just, it goes from this is your expectation. Where's my bowl of freaking ice cream every night? So how did I fix the boundaries that scale? Well, one is I introduced layers of access. There were staff filters, secure messages, defined call blocks for me to return things, admin time for me to do the return important things. Like, for example, I had a patient recently, their 4-year-old kid just died. All right. That's something where I'm going to take my admin time. You're damn right. I'm calling them back and spending a lot of time on the phone with them. We use automation or templates for patient messages when appropriate. We do give very individualized care. But if I'm going to tell you that, hey, your cholesterol is mildly high, work on diet and exercise, blah, 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 follow up next year. Yeah, that is an automated template. We implemented nurse triages and delegation protocols. Okay, if someone needs an omeprazole refill, there's an algorithm on how they go through that. We communicate clear boundaries. The manager also is now in place. We're big enough to have a manager where they step in and have the boundaries. Also, I train my team to say no with empathy. And I tell you what, sometimes my team is better than me. Sometimes I'll be like, screw it, put them on my schedule. And my team will be like, you can't do this. You have 12 meetings lined up today about growing the hell out of this practice. You cannot take an hour with this patient. When you make yourself less accessible and available, your systems become more reliable, and that allows you to scale. And that's what I realized. So how the hell am I scaling without losing the personal touch? Well, one, I leverage branding into it. Okay. Instead of, well, this is the Brad way that we're going to talk about like anxiety, depression, weight loss, whatever the hell you want to lean into, hormone replacement therapy. No. This is the insert your clinic name, way. You got to build trust through your staff. You got to have buy-in through your staff. Your staff has to believe in your protocols and what you're offering. And if that doesn't work, then offer structured concierge tiers. If they truly want 24/7 access, you need to either tell them this is not for you or offer that tier. Guess what? Patients wanted after hours and weekend service. We just started adding it in. $25 premium on top of the visit. It's booked almost solid all the time. Well, except this weekend because we had a big football game. But other than that, it's booked all the freaking time. I'm not saying being accessible is bad. Being too accessible is bad. If your business can't function without you answering the phone, it's not a business yet. If the business can't function without you doing almost every single job, dealing with billing complaints, oh, why did so-and-so not like return my phone call in 20 minutes like you guys promised? Then it's not a business yet that is even remotely ready to scale and move beyond you. And you need to work on standard operating procedures. You've got 2 jobs now. You've got a job of running the business and you got a job of seeing the patients. All right, you guys, thank you for following along. I'll see you all in the next one.